But I think shortly after the transition, we're gonna probably be having another raffle.
It's going to be in the middle of them because actually one of our sponsors, LDO, is coming in.
Oh, great.
So it'll be a good mix. So we're going to do it halfway in between.
No, go.
Yay! We got niggas on tap. We got
Yay!
Steve Builds. We
And
got
Modbot
Modbot.
and Nero and Chris
Hey,
in the
Mr.
basement.
Riley!
The basement.
That's a very wide angle lens. I
Hey,
like
everyone.
Like Chris Riley is tall, and that makes him look short. So that is a fantastic
So this
lens.
is like there's like 3 inches here in between the ceiling.
Oh, geez.
Yeah.
Is that
You're
like
like
a
over 6
security
feet
camera?
tall to begin with. You are
6
a tall
feet
person.
plus. 6 feet
Yeah.
plus, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's close to your height, I think,
inches.
Joel.
He's taller than me.
Yo, you're what,
Funny.
6'4"?
It's somewhere, I don't know, 6'2", 6'3", somewhere in there.
Yeah. I'm just 6'1". So
Oh,
I look up to Chris, as
Funny.
many do.
Yes.
It's funny how much the lens has an effect on how you look, because when I first met all of my coworkers, they said, wow, you're a lot taller than I thought. I'm 6
Yes.
foot, but I guess the camera doesn't do me any favors during my normal videos. So,
Yeah, dude, for some reason I thought you were like maybe 5'5", 5'6".
No, man.
when I met you, I was like, oh man, we are the same exact size. All right.
It was the first 3 people I met. It was like you, Colin, and one other person were like, wow, you're a lot taller than I thought you were going to be. I'm like, huh, maybe I need a different angle camera moving forward.
Down
I'm
here
gonna-
at
I'm gonna take
5'9",
this,
looking at your ankles.
I'm gonna take this time to say goodbye to everybody, including 5'9" Nero. You said it.
I will see
Hey,
each
thanks
other
for
in
having
like
us
2
on.
weeks anyway.
Yeah, we'll
Hey,
see you guys.
thank you very
Thanks,
much.
Joel.
People at
Thank
Smurf.
you, everyone.
Thanks, Joe,
See you
for
at
helping us
Smurf.
out. Thanks,
Everybody.
Chris.
Bye,
Thanks,
everybody.
Dave. Thanks, Ellie. And thanks, Grant. You guys
Ellie,
are
we'll
awesome.
be seeing you later, right?
Yeah, I'll be back on at midnight. Someone asked, "Oh, when will you be on the stream?" I said 12. They said AM or PM. I said both. Anyway,
Which time zone?
well, yeah, Eastern time zone. So I'll be on for the Pride Makers one
Nice.
tonight. So
And I
come
think
hang
you're
out
gonna be
with
on that
all
too, right?
the gay people.
There you go.
Yeah.
We'll
That's
definitely
okay.
see that. Just don't destroy any more filament.
Make the rest of. Oh no, she did it!
Poor Mr. Randolph.
Wrong.
Oh.
That's the mic drop. I can't follow that.
That was
I will see you
uncalled
all
for.
later.
I've got a
So
spool of
funny.
Prusament that's just like that. When my rep box took a tumble, there was a spool of Prusament and it just got snapped right in half. And it's just, I look at it every now and then. One day I'll figure it out, but
Yeah,
It's-
like
it's a-
every time
it's a full
something
one.
like every time something like that happens, it's just heartbreaking. It's like
Yeah.
I can't throw that away. I can fix it.
Yeah.
I can
one day.
fix it.
one day.
It's tough to fix though. When you get a tangle in a spool, it is really tough to fix unless you undo most of it. Like the amount of times I see a tangle, think that I've taken it off far enough to get to the point, and then midway through a print in the future, it tangles, and I'm like, I didn't fix the whole thing like I thought that I did.
Yeah.
It's definitely, it's brutal.
Yeah.
All right, real quick, everybody. I'm sneaking out. Take care. Have a good one. Nice to see everybody.
Thank you, Chris.
My
Chris.
bad.
Yeah.
Little
Thanks,
shout
Chris.
out. We finally connected
Yeah,
kind of in person here finally. So
yeah. nice
everybody
to
take care.
talk to
Have a
you
good
for a
one.
moment.
And please make sure that you get some torture in for Shane. Somebody has to pass this message along.
No.
For the
No.
crew. So please get some torture in for Shane. And also Krusty's got like some super hot scorpion peppered meat.
Yeah,
that he-
torture him.
So somebody
He's
please
falling
pony up
behind.
$100 for Krusty to eat some peppered scorpion meat, and he might cry a little bit for that.
Bye, Chris.
And
Have
I
you
haven't
tried
eaten
the-
yet today, so I don't know what that's going to do to my stomach.
Ooh.
Oh, so do it at the end of the stream is what you're saying?
Oh no, I will have eaten by then. Probably some pasta and something nice and coating.
I've got a failed print on the Cocoa Press that's waiting for some B-roll of me taking care of it.
I almost brought my
Honest
Cocoa
failure.
Press with me to like have printing while we were on stream. So because like a long print on the Cocoa Press is often like 25-30 minutes.
Yeah.
So we could
it-
get a few prints and just like be munching throughout the stream.
You
But
can
I
only get
ran out
about
of
an hour
time.
and a half of print time out of it. It only can
Yeah.
print for an hour and a half before you run out of chocolate.
What's
Yeah.
the nozzle orifice size on it?
0.8 and 1.6 are your two
Yeah, I
options.
was gonna say.
So the thing that runs out is the actual cartridge, then, right? I mean, a full cartridge
Yeah.
can only okay.
Yeah,
Yeah,
a full cartridge is 65 grams, which is you can get about 4 benchies out of it. Because you can do 5 Cali Cats on a full bed, and that's pretty much it.
I don't think this. Sorry to interrupt. I don't think you guys need any prompting on to talk because you all know each other. You all get along, and you know how to talk to each other. So, but if you would, before you get too
Congratulations.
far along, if you guys would all just take a second, introduce yourself to the people that are out there watching. Steve, I'm glad you were able to make it. I heard you weren't feeling too well, that you'd gotten corned beef. So I'm glad you were able to make it. But yeah, if you all just introduce yourselves and we'll kind of leave you to run your own thing.
Not it for starting.
Who's gonna go first?
Why don't we go? I'll do it the way it's on my screen. So how about if we go? Actually, you know what? I'll do it the reverse. Mr. Riley, you first, please.
All right. Well, easy enough. Yeah, I'm Chris Riley. I do YouTube videos on 3D printing. Hopefully, most of the 1440 makers have seen me by now after, I don't know how many years, 7 years or something. But glad to be on here. 3D printing stuff. I like making 3D printers with 3D printers. That's always a good time. Hopefully, that's going to be a lot of what we're talking about today.
Awesome. All right, and we're gonna go with sorry, we're gonna go with Nero or Taylor or
Yeah, well, either or works. I'm Taylor, Neuro 3D. I'm the Voron guy according to Tom. And I mostly live stream on YouTube. I do videos occasionally. The Cocoa Press video is coming one of these days. But yeah, I build 3D printers. It kind of started as a hobby during lockdown, became a part-time job, and now it's my job. So I build printers. I stream 3 days a week. Occasionally do other stuff. I'm kind of on a Nerf kick right now, building Nerf blasters on the side, but that's kind of what I do. And if you want to know how to build a Voron, I don't know, watch my channel, I guess.
I'll get the links up and we'll have it in the chat as well. My bot, are you all set? Do you need a moment for
Yeah,
another
I'm
one?
good. There's just some noises back here. I'll introduce
that's not
them
a
in
problem.
second.
That's not a problem.
Hi, everybody. I'm Daniel. I go by ModBot online. I've been making YouTube videos for probably 14 years at this point. I've been in the 3D printing space for about a decade. The YouTube videos actually started off as video game hacking and modding, and I bought a 3D printer in 2014 to make some custom console mods, became completely obsessed, and it changed the direction of my channel and pretty much my life. So since then, I've been making videos, teaching people about how the machines work and the materials, and we do build 3D printers as well over on the ModBot Army streaming channel. For anybody that's going to hear animal sounds or wondering why I seem distracted, I've got this little guy in the background. This is Jack or Jackson. He's my 8-month-old. So I'm hoping he'll be on his best behavior, but this is kind of in between nap time, so we'll see how it goes. But yeah, he's not quite building 3D printers yet, but I think a V0 is in his future, so we'll see.
Yeah.
There you go.
And if you need to run to take care of the little one, by all means, go right
I appreciate it. I might. At some point, I might try to get him down for a nap like halfway.
Yeah.
So we'll see. Thank you.
No worries.
You need to build him a jelly bean.
There you go. That's a throwback.
All right. How about we go with the Makers on Tap crew?
All right. I'll start. So the three of us we used to run a podcast called Makers on Tap for a long time. We hit a point where we had 100 episodes and we were all kind of like tired. And so we took a hiatus for a bit, and occasionally we come back and do things like this. I'm Joe. I make 3D printers and lasers and CNCs and robots go bing. And that's kind of my whole thing. Yeah, let's try it.
Oh, you good? My name is Chris. I'm one of the other hosts on MOT. And my more focus is on cosplay and building props and whatnot. So I work a lot on stuff like that and being able to kind of make realistic props. I actually brought a couple with me today that I can show off later. But that's kind of where my whole focus was more of the aesthetical and very art driven type of 3D printing and prop making and all that kind of stuff. So that's where you got me.
And Sage is over on the left, removing a lung from their body currently. They're a reformed open source zealot. They do software hacking, build 3D printers, and drive me and Chris crazy, typically. So
Sweet. Great, thanks. And Steve.
Hello. So
Hi.
I sympathize with the hacking up a lung thing, but I'm feeling surprisingly well. My name is Steve. I've been a member of the Voron design team for about 3.5 years now. I was the lead designer for the Voron Trident. And once we finished that, I decided I would stream it on YouTube, a build of one. And that started into a regular channel of building printers and other related items on my Sunday streams.
And I'm just on the introductions. I'm just going to get this started with a comment. Daniel, I've known you, I don't know how many years now, but I feel like I've been watching your videos since you were like 12.
Yeah. I mean, my first video on the channel, I think I was 17, so you're not far off. And I will say, I used to have to shave all of my facial hair for work that I did when I was 17 or 18 retail. And even now, if I shave my facial hair, it's like, hi guys, it's Mudbot. Like, I mean, I go back. Yeah, so you're not wrong. I think that there was one time I shaved it in the 8 years Aaron and I have been together, and it's not happening again unless it's like life or death. It's just not.
Yeah.
Yes, I go back to 12 very quickly.
A razor hasn't touched my face since I got out of the army, and that was in 2014. So I don't even know what I look like without this anymore.
So the last
I'm not
time I
risking it.
clean shaved was the day of our wedding, and my wife didn't know I was going to shave and hadn't seen me clean shaven in like 4 years before that. It was very funny.
I don't. Oh man, I think
I look like a child.
Yeah. No, the last time I shaved would have been 2014 or 2015 that I actually fully shaved for, and that was, oh, I will never do that again.
Yeah, not worth it. Not worth it.
Yeah, it's probably been 10 years since I've shaved.
My beard came off last week. It was kind of getting to that itchy point.
It hits the middle point where I don't know what to do with it, and like I just like it starts to get real bushy, and I've watched YouTube videos, I've tried a couple times, but it always hits a point where I'm like, I look in the mirror and I'm like, it doesn't feel right anymore. So I commend everybody like Steve and Nero that have gotten beyond that point, but I just hit this rough patch and I just can't get through it.
I'm at that point right now. Actually, watching the earlier stream when Grant was talking about auctioning his hair off, I'm even more sad now that I'm not ending up not going to Smurf, because I would totally throw in on that auction for my shaving my mustache off. Because like legit, the reason I had it for so long was to see Sanjay's face light up at Murph events. And then it's now become a thing where it's like I just kind of have to have it because everybody expects it, and I'm way over it. So I would totally auction that off at Smurf for a good cause.
Dang. So what's next on the what's the next builds for all of you guys, or what's in progress?
Well, I just finished the Cocoa Press, which that is it for those that have built a V0. That Cocoa Press build, oh, it's so nice. It is such a good build. It was
such
a
relaxing build.
Yeah.
And I was a beta builder. So like when Ellie gave me the kit, she was like, there's no instructions, just CAD. Have fun.
Oh, I had the instructions, and it's like literally somebody's gonna slap I think Ellie was showing off a Revo Roto on it already. I'm like, when that becomes an actual printer, that's gonna be like my go-to for like, hey, If you want to build a printer, like you've never built a printer before, this is probably your best bet. That it goes together so
2020s
smooth.
The 2020s on it are really nice too, because if you forget to preload something, whatever, just drop it in and move forward. So
all of the T-nuts on it are drop-in. There are no preload T-nuts. So like the build process and like the forethought of how everything goes together is very much there. It very much it was one of those builds that like wants to be built, you know?
Yep.
So I really enjoyed it.
Yeah.
And how much of that was adapted from the Voron design? I know there was some inspiration there.
Pretty much all, like Max, our Russian cat food, did the CAD for that printer. If you know, it is not a Voron, but it's
very V0. It's like V0's half removed cousin twice, you know, on the
exactly.
So it's a Choco Taco to the carne asada there.
Sure. There you go. That's
go with that.
Yes.
Now on the opposite side there. Yeah, Daniel and Steve, you guys just built VZ bots.
Yeah.
Too, right? You guys did 235s. What did you guys think of that? Because I got the 330. I just finished that one. Well, it's still not finished yet, but it's printing.
That was a fun build.
Like Steve and me had fairly uniform opinions on it, but I'll let Steve say how you felt about it, and I'll chime in.
I think overall it was a great build. We definitely ran into pains of I would say maybe inexperienced kit supplier. Only that this is one of Mello's, I think, first full kits that they were supplying. So there were some gaps in fasteners mostly. The machine parts quality was phenomenal. But overall in the support of the VZBot team was great. Yeah. So and we recognize that they're definitely kind of early to this and kind of work through all the things, but it's ended up being a pretty good workhorse for me. Whenever I need to throw a bracket or something out there, I'll throw it at that because I have a 0.6 nozzle in it and I have it set to the default Orca slicer speeds and
fast.
It
just goes.
It's been reliable. I've liked it. But I mean, the bigger thing is, I mean, having that opportunity and the first time Daniel and I doing that collaboration stream and the way we had it set up,
super fun.
That was so much fun.
Yeah, it was super fun. It took months of it was sort of this idea. I don't remember exactly how it first happened, but I remember people had mentioned the build a VZ for months and months and months. And I was watching Steve stream one day and I typed like VZ in chat ? And he didn't, I don't know what exactly you said, but then I donated $10 to him and said the start of the VZ fund. And after that, it's sort of, I feel like put the wheels in motion very slowly. And the hardest part of logistics was figuring out how to do this remotely. Like it's one thing to stream your own setup, but like latency issues, audio issues, control of scenes, like we looked at all sorts of different packages out there. And in the end result, although there was some small hiccups still, because it's going to happen, it's live streaming, we were really proud and happy with the experience of the end result. And we got so much positive feedback on both the way it was, as well as like bouncing our personalities off of each other, because Steve builds things very different than me. And you don't realize how different someone builds than you until you're building a thing together and you're like, wow, no, the wiring is good, Steve. And he says, no. Like, yeah, definitely much more of an eye for detail. While I'm just like, hey, it's plugging in, everything's working. There's no hazards here, but no. So it was a really, really fun time. And yeah, the end result, the biggest headache for me was the M2.5 wafer screw that was too long. Steve had like a grinding wheel to basically get it to the size we needed. I was in here with like sandpaper, sanding the damn screw shorter on stream. It was brutal. And I mean, it was only a couple and they've since figured it out, but like live on stream filing screws was not what we had envisioned for the stream those days.
Right.
So yeah,
it's funny.
And when you're discovering that live, it makes it an extra challenge to, for one, to keep your cool.
Looks like
definitely.
Looks like we have Claire from E3D in the chat. If everybody wants to say hi and
see you in 2 weeks.
That we want.
Yeah,
Hi,
God,
Claire.
that is
more Revo goodness.
Who else here is
Congratulations on
going
all the
to
launches.
Smurf? Who else here is going to Smurf? I know me and Steve are. Daniel, you're not?
No.
Is it just me and Steve? Okay. That is that is coming up so quick, and I've never been across
Mhm.
the ocean before, so it's like, oh, I got a I don't know where anything. Okay, okay, I got my passport. We're good. It's like
Before Christmas, right?
That was like part of why I wasn't going, why I ended up pulling out, was I was concerned about getting my passport back in time, but my passport just showed up. So like if I wanted to try to book everything today, I could
It's-
probably go.
You got
But
time.
do it.
yeah, the
Do
big
it.
thing is
Do it.
like the you know, the whole idea of Smurf and the Sanjay Mortimer Foundation is taking care of the neurodivergent youth, and I've got my own neurodivergent youth that need me home right now, so I'm not bailing on them
Yeah.
at the moment. So
Good
it's,
call.
ugh. Next year, or you know, some other time in the middle. There's so many things I wanted to go do and see there, though, like people. So you guys have to give Claire and Sam and oh my gosh, everybody else from E3D giant hugs for me. And then you have to go tackle Tony from Duet while he's drunk and can't see you.
Okay.
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 They're just
Got
like behind, and then he'll go, and then he'll hug you. This is how I do. So since I'm not there, one of you has to. Okay.
Both.
I'm jealous. I wish I could be going also. It's not in the budget this year, but it's going to be a great inaugural event, I think.
Yeah.
Is there some streaming happening? I think there was at this original Sanjay. There was an auction that Joel did
there will
last
be an
year.
auction.
Yeah, Joel will be streaming the auction.
Okay, that's at least part of it.
I think
I'm going to try and
he's
stream
gonna
a
be
floor
streaming
walk.
as well.
I'm going to try and do a floor walk like I normally do at some point live stream, or I don't know. I'm going to try something while I'm there. I need to justify it as a business expense somehow.
Are you rolling with the GoPro, or are you bringing bigger
Yep.
gear? Okay.
I still need to. I love the GoPro setup. I just don't like the output of it, and it annoys me to no end because it's the sensor. The GoPro is not a good image sensor, especially indoors. But it's the best single compact setup I can do when it's a single man setup. So every now and then it's like I kind of want to buy a better camera, but then I have to deal with everything that a camera entails. And the GoPro, just the image stabilization and everything is perfect. It's just the image is kind of, it looks like an old smartphone. I don't like
As long
it.
as you've got audio that's good, and that's the key, I think, more than anything.
As long as the audio is good and the color isn't completely blown out, you're fine. But it's like on a personal level, I'm like, it could be better. So I get better image quality on my streams than I do at, recording everything at 4K at an event. So I'm like,
What do you have coming up, Chris?
I don't even know. We kind of do things really far ahead because of my schedule is so jam packed. So what you're going to see and what I'm doing is like in a different world. It's kind of weird to live this way so many years in a row, but you do all this stuff weeks ahead of time. So I'm not sure what's coming up. I know that we did plan for like a whole year to go to Smurf, and we weren't able to make it work, and I'm really bummed about it because I really wanted to go to the first one, but I couldn't make it happen. So I still the live streams are, though, I mean, of course they're current, so I'm still working on the Trident build that I've been working on since December 22. But hopefully the next one though will be just straight up firmware and we'll be done. So I anxiously want to finish that, and I'm sure everyone that watches wants me to finish it as well.
I'm on episode 10, Chris, of my Trident build this upcoming Wednesday. So, and we also did the VZ in between that. So I'm at 6 months. I'm not quite at your 1 year, but don't feel bad. If everyone watches my stream knows it's a little bit of building and a lot of sidetracking. So
I started my 2.4 right about the same time as Chris started his Trident, and it's still sitting there, Steve. Since last time I showed you pictures of it.
I'll come down and we'll finish it up.
There we go.
That VZ bot, the 330 VZ bot, I think was 12 parts of the build series to get it to where it's at now. and I still need to finish it because I haven't done the enclosure on it yet. So I still need to wrap that up, but that one's paused for
man.
now.
Electrical was a lot.
Oh,
I don't know how many streams it was between Steve and I doing, but like the 48 volt, the 24 volt, the separate drivers on the side.
And
the
you had to make the
CPAP.
wire looms yourself. It's been a while since I've had to wire a printer up myself. Everything comes
Yeah.
with a pre-made wire loom now, all the kits. So it's like, here's some wires, start crimping and stripping, and you're like,
Yep.
okay, here we go again.
They don't know how hard. we
Back in
had.
my day.
My
Get some
current
Cat
build,
5 cable.
my current build, this V0, I think I'm on stream 11 for it. But it's with rep firmware and it's a little different.
Yeah, it's duet.
And same thing. I started that. I disassembled it on a member stream last spring and started it before we did the VZ bots. And so it's been a good 6-month build as well. Maybe it's just the time for that. The summer, things get distracted.
Yeah.
Yep.
Well, you guys stream 1 day a week too, right?
Yeah.
So if something comes up like, oh, hey, I want to do something else
Yeah.
for a little bit, then you're not touching it for like a month. So
Right. Well, an event. So IRF.
Yeah.
And then Orange County Maker Fair and
Yep.
now Smurf.
Yeah, because with Smurf, I won't be doing. That's like one whole week where I'm not streaming, where I'm going to be like, what the heck am I doing? Because I stream 3 days a week. I'm like, what am I going to do now?
It's gonna be like a vacation, like a legit vacation.
I know. Well, I'll try and stream there, but we'll see. We'll see.
Beware, British internet is not fantastic.
So I've been told that apparently the venue should be okay though, because it is like Oxford University or something like that. So they're supposed to have good internet there. I've been told they have good internet there. So
I would
do-
see if they have a vendor connection because that'll probably get eaten up.
apparently they will. If I remember correctly. The problem is I've talked to the people running like how many rep events. So I'm like, I think this is the one where they said they're gonna have creator. Or no, yeah, because Rocky Mountain's doing that too next year. They're gonna have a separate Wi-Fi for creators. So I think they're doing it
Makes a
here
big difference.
too. So
I think they're planning in the chat, I think they're planning a West Coast meetups of some sort so we can get my 2.4 done.
Are you shipping your 2.4s there?
Well, that's where I'm at.
Oh, never mind. Never mind. Sorry.
I think they just want to come. I think they just want to come play with my Excel.
We need to have the Bay
That's
Area
probably it.
Rep Fest, the barf that we've talked about. That's been talked about for years.
Yeah, barf.
I can't believe that hasn't happened. Like, as
Such
all
a
the
good thing.
things and all the
Needs to.
places.
oh, we don't have one in Canada either. There's no Rep Fest up here either.
Fix it, Nero.
No.
That was interesting.
Well, the problem is, okay, so for logistically, here's my problem. Where I'm at, Murph is 4 hours away. So I'm
Yeah,
like,
same
if
for us.
anyone's gonna go, if I'm gonna go to a Rep Fest, I'm gonna go to Murph because it's 3.5, 4 hours away. So if I'm like, hey, I'll do a Canadian one here. Well, the problem is I'm at the like literally look at the map of Canada, go as far south as you can. That's where I'm at. So if I put out a Rep Fest here, ain't nobody else in Canada is gonna come to it because I'm gonna be far away from them too.
Yeah.
Like Toronto is 4 hours north of me. So
If you build it, they will come. That's the biggest thing.
We all go to freaking nowhere, Indiana.
Yeah,
Like,
Yeah,
there
that's
isn't the closest airport is 3 hours away from Murph.
see, okay, now that I'm actually thinking, if we can get Hacksmith involved, because Hacksmith has a place,
Yeah.
already, and they're only like 2 hours north of me, so I could, yeah.
Yeah.
Is
There
there
wasn't
anything is there anything in Idaho? I mean, that's like kind of right in the middle of that.
There's no
Daniel.
3D printing. I'm here. Everyone's welcome to come to my house for pizzas and printing, but that's about it, I think. I was gonna say, I would drive up to
Housewarming
Canada if
party.
we have one there. There you go.
So it should be cheap. We could just rent a field.
Yeah,
There you go.
just set up some tents,
You
off we
have to
go.
Have
rent it. You
cornfields.
just show up and nobody'd notice.
There's cornfields everywhere here. You let me know and I'll call a tent guy. I can make that happen.
I thought, wasn't Idaho supposed to be the potato place?
It is, yeah.
Yes,
But to
it
be
is.
honest with you, I haven't seen very many potatoes in the grocery store potatoes next to us. They're not from here. So,
Oh.
yeah, it's a little disappointing.
Imported.
I'm
from
pretty sure
Chile.
McDonald's buys all the Idaho potatoes.
that and Five
Possible.
Guys. Five Guys, but it does a lot.
Yeah, we have sugar beets here, or beets. There's a
guys.
beet factory right next to where I live.
We got corn and
bless you.
soybeans, and that's it.
You got corn, you got fresh PLA.
Yeah,
Yep.
yeah, we have corn and soybeans here. So I haven't done a build for anything 3D printer wise, and the last printer I built was my E3D tool changer. So what should I build? Because I'm jonesing. I have tested everybody else's 3D printers for the last couple of years, and I've done that, but I have not like designed my own build in a very long time, and I haven't built something in a very long time. So what should I build? What's fun?
I mean, I got the biased
Something
answer.
to put a roto.
Yeah, me and Steve have an opinion that might be a little canted towards one brand. You can't go wrong with a Trident. I'm sure
That's
Steve
what I've
will
been
agree with
thinking.
me. You
Yep.
can't go wrong with a Trident. Although I will say, other than the Cocoa Press, I had a lot of fun building that Ultimaker out of wood. That was fun. So maybe
Yeah.
you want to do
Just hard
something
to get.
retro. Yeah. Well, who was it that just built the that old one that they're auctioning off at the
That's
Adam.
Adam Vector 3D.
Yeah.
I'm
Yeah, I
looking
kinda
forward to
wanna
seeing
build
that.
one.
That looks cool.
I kind of want to build one of those now, just because we built the Ultimaker. I have the Tico. I need another old thing to go onto the collection.
I should have sent you my G Max before I broke it down.
One of those.
I didn't
Okay.
forget the Cocoa Press, Bob.
I mean, I
That
had
was
an
like- that
original
was a thing that I
A-frame
was testing
G
for
Max from
somebody.
2014.
Ender 3. I'm watching the chat. There's some gems of
I haven't.
Yeah, chat's getting frisky.
I
haven't
mean,
done
if
much
you
research
really,
on it, but
if you really want a big old print, and you want to do something new, there's a Indominus Rex sitting in my garage that is not doing anything right now.
I don't wanna do that. Have any of you guys built the Tridex, the IDEX Trident?
Steve has.
has one.
Have
Yeah.
I have a series on it.
reviews?
It works.
Because, like,
I haven't printed
Yeah.
a ton with it. Because I get busy with other projects. But it's a
Shocker.
solid system. I've done dual color prints. I just haven't done a lot of them.
I'll probably end up converting my Trident over to one now that I have the VZ bot.
I just
Is
don't
it-
ever want to do same material supports like ever again after having the XL for a while. Like,
I'm gonna try to put little man down. I'll be right back, everybody. Wish me luck.
Okay.
Good luck.
Yeah, no worries.
I mean,
I don't know much
So-
about it, but I've been kind of eyeing the Jubilee is kind of an open source tool changer. But I haven't done much research on it, or I don't know how well supported it is.
Are there
It's been
kits
around
for
for
the
a while.
Jubilee? It's been around for a bit, but it's like you see the odd one at the Rep Fest, but that's pretty much it. Are there?
I think you
official
can
kits
get
for it?
component collections like frame and
Okay.
rails and
Yeah.
stuff.
Yeah,
I
Phil's
think
figure
LDO
has
even
them.
makes
Okay.
a frame.
Yeah.
and Mandala Roseworks was making beds and plates and stuff for them for a while.
Okay.
What's the upside down one? Positron? Joe, I could totally see you building one of those.
Positron's fun.
Yeah.
That one is an interesting one as well.
Yeah, the LDO kit should be wrapped up and available soon. I should be getting one because
Is-
Yeah.
that's been a lot of people been wanting that printer ever
Yeah.
since that was first demoed, and it's definitely a niche printer. I highly doubt people are going to be kitting out print farms with it, but it probably will be a fun build.
But you just
Well,
be like
it-
Pooch and stick your Mark III on the ceiling.
Yeah, I can do that.
What is the Positron open source? I mean, I know it's coming as a kit, but is
I
it?
believe so.
Yes. Yes.
It is. So
The,
I'm
the
curious
base
how-
machine is open source, but I don't know if the variants would be too, because there's like a few different variants of it now, because the original design used like synchro mesh, and then there was somebody designed their own version that used belts, and then LDO has their version that's coming out. So there's already kind of few different versions of the machine floating around. But I believe since the
curious-
original is open source, it all is open source. So
How long until somebody like doubles and triples the size of it?
I don't think that machine would scale well at
Yeah,
all, because the whole
no.
point is supposed to fit inside a box, like the
Yeah.
actual box that filament comes in. So the moment you start scaling it up, it's like, well, why are we making a collapsible printer at this point anyways? Like it's designed to meet that one goal, and once you take that goal out, it's like, why are you building a printer this way? Because like the way the hot end works, where it has a 90-degree flow path for the filament that it has to make,
Right.
is not,
Oh.
you do not want that. Like they have to do it because they have to do it, but flowing filament around a 90-degree bend is really not something you want to do in the hot end.
How much can they tempt gravity though with the size of the print before it's going to fall off the bed?
I don't know. I have had printers printing on their sides for the entire life that I've owned them. Like back when I worked for Lulzbot, I had a Taz 6 that it was just sideways because that was the easiest way to work on it. And I had that printer for like a year and a half sideways. So
Steve, were you around, Steve, during the time when we used to print sideways on Vorons on the V2s? Were you around for that?
No, I was not.
Okay,
I
during
hadn't
the
even heard of that.
Yeah, go back on, if you go on the Voron subreddit, like back around those days. I think Full G had to do it with his. There were a few people that had V2s, the original V2, that they just printed better sideways. So people
Really?
had the printer just sideways.
Interesting.
it makes support interesting, but like it also really like showcases how much gravity really doesn't play that much into support, because it didn't really change a lot. It just changed it some.
That's like, yeah, if you're a 3D printing YouTuber, everyone has to do the is it better to print upside down video at some point. So there's already a bunch of videos out there, and they're all like, maybe, kind of, sort of, not really. It doesn't really change much.
Yeah, it's very weird. It's all about the stack, right? And like the surface tension that the liquid filament creates. It's not really that much about gravity. It's
still cool to show though, just someone that's not
yes.
too familiar with it. Like, whoa, it prints up. Like something about taking a thing, flipping it upside down, and it's still doing the thing is exciting. Like, you know?
Oh yeah.
I do that with the V0 builds. Whenever I finish a V0 when we're doing the test print, I just grab the printer and just kind of flip it around because it's a V0, right?
I mean, Joe, remember
we work at Dairy Queen.
The Dairy Queen, here's your printer. Flip it upside down in front of them.
There you go. I mean, Joe, remember we used to do it with the CMC deltas all the time.
Yeah,
we flip an H2 upside down or a row stock and just let it run.
Again, because it's easier to work on them. Because the controls.
Yeah, exactly.
I haven't tried it with the Cocoa Press yet.
Well, I think I know what I'm doing later today.
All right, it's
I think
race
it's
for the
interesting with
content.
that giant head. Like you have to like support it with a box. I don't know.
Yeah, the tool head might be a little heavy to print on side. You might, can't.
Somebody asked in chat what my favorite combination for dual filaments are. Support just straight up PLA and PETG. You want like normal PLA.
Works
fantastic. Yeah, they work so good, and most of the time when I do it, the supports come out in like one single piece, and it's like a mirror of your part, and it's just beautiful, and it's so nice.
You can do zero gap too. I did a video on it where I did a water soluble gap basically for it, so there was no gap whatsoever, and it came off super clean. And the biggest plus to that over using a dedicated support material is the cost. Dedicated support materials cost like 2 to 3 times the price usually, when all you need is just your favorite spool of PLA and PTG, and it's interchangeable. I mean, PLA for PTG supports and PTG for PLA supports work great either way.
Yep. Yeah, I just have a 5 kilogram spool of each that I run when I do those parts, because it's always like prototypes that I'm doing for people that are like engine parts and things that are like not printing optimized, right? And you want them to be beautiful on the inside, and so you just stick a putty knife in between them, and the whole thing comes out.
For spools that big. Like I recently got in some IC3D spools and a couple others that are like 2 or 3 kg, and it's been a struggle for me to figure out both a feeding setup that works well, that doesn't add a lot of drag to it, and then drying like a huge spool of PETG is another one for me where I'm like, none of my dryers will fit anything this big. So that's the only struggle I've had with larger spool sizes, really.
I find those you know the little feet that have like the bearings on them that you could just press the spool on.
Tush, I think.
Yeah, I can't remember what printer I got last year. I had like 2 printers last year that I got that came with those for the spools. I think it was the KP3S actually. The King Room came with it. That's what I used for those big spools, and I just put it there and it feed it in. But I'm printing ABS, so I don't have to dry it or anything. It's been fine. So.
Drying
Do you have one of those
ABS
shoe racks for your dryer? Like it's the wire rack that you can put in your dryer that you can put a pair of shoes on to keep them from tumbling.
And then put it in your dryer?
in the dryer.
Yeah.
Okay,
The
gotcha.
clothes dryer.
I was thinking for some reason I was thinking in my oven because usually people say put in your oven. I was like, Chris is drying his shoes in his oven. Like
I'm gonna
your wife
need
is a
pictures
saint.
of this.
There's no way.
Oh, you
Yeah,
never seen that?
no.
No.
If you have the shoe rack for your clothes dryer, you can put the larger spools of filament on that and run your dryer for a while. And it's going to suck
I've
all the
never
moisture
heard of
right out
that.
with it.
Yeah.
That's rad.
Wild. All right.
Yeah.
I've got a spool of
How hot
Peck
does a
for
dryer
Ultim
get?
I got to dry.
Around 215 degrees.
What is that in normal
Yeah.
units?
It's like 100-ish.
100. Yeah.
So that'll don't do it with PLA.
Yeah.
So you can use it for
That's-
Pet G.
Will
You know,
it work
as
with
we heard
Ultim?
from Dave earlier, you don't ever need a drink filling, apparently.
Yeah.
So
That's cool. Yeah, can you send later somewhere, Chris, like a link to that drying thing? I've never heard of. Even for
Yeah.
shoes, I've got shoes where I've washed them before, and it's like dung dung. You know, like you throw
Yeah,
them
yeah.
I mean,
for shoes too.
I don't know if you can buy them, but I mean, our dryer when we bought it came with it. It's just
Yeah,
a rack that,
Probably a feature.
Gotcha.
yeah, it's
Interesting. Model.
like it hooks in where the lint thing is in the front and just sticks out, and it's just made to set like a pair of shoes on
Super
it.
cool.
yeah, I'm gonna need to look this up.
Yeah, that's rad.
Yeah, because I've got somebody sent me a spool of Ultim a while ago that I
wow.
tried printing on my Toasty Boy, my slightly higher temp printer, and I melted the front off the printer. So I've rebuilt it. So, but the thing is, I need to dry that spool of Ultim because it sucks up water like no tomorrow.
That stuff almost needs to be printed out of a vacuum oven. Like it's
Yeah.
rough.
That's what it
Yeah,
looks
so I
like.
got that, and I also got a spool of
It
Peck on
fits
the
in
way.
there.
He's like, "Oh, if that didn't work, we're gonna try this," and I'm like, "Okay, we'll give it a shot." I mean, it's content, but
Everything is content. Everything.
Yeah. well, now the tool head is glass filled high temp nylon, and that was printed on the Revo high temp, and that hopefully won't melt as easily as the ABS did. But printing that melted the ABS parts, so we'll see.
Wow.
I'll try to tune in for this stream. It sounds like there's a lot
love
of
that.
potential for things to go crazy.
Well, just the
That's fun.
installing the Revo high temp. So I'm like, I'll just print off one crick because it doesn't have a stealth burner. The printer has an afterburner tool head. So the old style is the V1.8 that's insulated. So I'm like, I'll just print off a mount for it in ABS. And then as soon as the printer's online, I'll print off the mount in the glass filled stuff that I need this hot end to print. So E3 is like, it's good to 500. And I'm like, okay, it says it's good to 500. Let's see what happens when I set it to 500. And the time it took it to go from room temp to 500 to room temp, I melted the ducts in ABS. That's how hot 500 is.
That's
So
hot, baby. That's
don't be putting your
Alright.
Revo high temps in PLA mounts, please don't.
Yeah. I've switched over to doing all my fan ducts in resin. I'll use a high temp resin and print them. It doesn't burn. It just, if anything, it gets brittle and turns into powder.
Yeah. The only thing with resin, with the fan ducts, as long as they're non-structural, like if they're just hanging there, you're
Yeah.
fine.
Yeah.
Because every now and then somebody tries to make a Voron or something out of resin parts, and it works. Please don't.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Resin fan shroud, if you print it in clear and then have a way to clear coat it so it maintains that glass, I mean, that's pretty cool for being able to kind of see a little bit more into the tool head with it. But
Yeah.
I
That's
haven't.
You'd have to use an epoxy spray. A high temp epoxy spray. Clear.
my old V2 there has had a resin stealth burner front face for, oh god, it's been like over a year now. When did I do that, Steve? That was like back just before the beta closed for stealth burner. I did that, I think, one of the last betas. But it's been like a year and a half.
Clear
And
one.
it's the smoked one. It looks like the old Game Boy, clear Game Boy.
Yeah.
But it's held up fine. But again, there's no force on it. It's just a fan shroud. So
Yeah.
I wouldn't be using it for like an XY joint or something with bearings in it because it will explode. And we've
Where it
seen
bolts on, have you taken it off? Is it still?
I've taken it
like,
off.
Usually where the
there is
pressure
some
from the screws is, it might show
Micro
some.
cracks.
There is
Yeah.
some minor stress fractures there, but nothing that impede it from just sitting there and being a fan duct. So
Yeah.
if
Well, and
there was
that's
like
an
a bolt
indicator that
force, yeah.
it's bad for any spot that's going to
Oh.
see some forces. Yeah.
Oh yeah. Did you see the one where Buddy, like the whole tool head just got ripped in half?
No.
They sheared it, like the whole tool head, like the actual part that mounts to the carriage, the whole thing just sheared in half over like mid print.
Oh
And
wow.
it's like,
Oops.
yeah, you don't print printer parts out of resin. Please don't.
I feel like we still need a lot more data and testing because like resin, I've seen people take one type of resin and do a blend with a different type of resin, right? Like you have a really rigid resin, add, I don't know, 5 or 10% of a flexible resin, and then you have this sort of unique property. But the issue is there's not, I don't feel like there's nearly as much testing data on how it behaves in the real world compared to FDM or FFF materials that we're used to printing with. And so like I'm fine with using it for things that if it fails, it's not a huge deal, but like super functional parts, I'm still sketched about because I'm just like, I don't know, like it just, I'd rather be safe than sorry.
Yeah, it's where we were with FSF and FDM parts in industry 8 or 9 years ago. He's like, everyone was referring to material data sheets, but those material data sheets were for injection molded parts because there's so much variability with the anisotropy between layers and like all that stuff. And we just haven't had people mess around with resin, I think, to that point yet. But
Yeah, I mean,
there's some neat
there's a
stuff
lot of
coming
resins
out.
that can do it. I mean, they can make teeth out of resin.
Yeah.
Now, so there's a lot of more expensive, not your Amazon bottle of $35 resin, but there are resins that have properties similar to nylon. There's ones that can be powder reinforced.
Formlabs has crazy stuff. I mean, I know they're proprietary, the company, but like I've seen some of the resins come off of it, and I mean, we're talking like silicone stuff. I mean, it's nuts. Some of their material scientists are absolutely wild.
The biggest problem with resin, again, unless you're talking big dollar like a Formlabs printer, the biggest problems with resin for mechanical parts is the shrinkage is unpredictable. It's not like ABS where you just get a 2%, everywhere. You could get a 2% on the outside with a 3% on the inside, or get a 2% horizontal, versus vertical. So I printed one of those things that we're not supposed to talk about on on YouTube, just because it had both internal and external structures that could be measured. And you could see it, and the measurements were off unpredictably, in for example, where our magazine would go in versus where a slide would go on, and other parts of that. So that's the biggest hurdle, I think, with resin.
What I've also found is like the parts will deform, not just shrink, but deform in unpredictable ways during the print process.
The sticking and releasing and the sticking and releasing, you get sagging in certain parts and stuff. It's fresh. I mean, if you got small parts, or you really spend enough time revising your supports and your CAD to like take all that into consideration, but just to throw it on there, it's not quite so simple for structural functional parts. Again, for detailed artistic organic models, it is just beautiful. But for a lot of the functional, needs to have certain tight tolerances, it's a tricky thing.
Well, I think a big part of what you're mentioning too is the peel method, whereas is most of your, I don't know, sub $1,000 printers are just sucking. They're just breaking the suction, and they have no peel. Whereas things like the Prusa SL1 and the newer one that they're going to be showing, the Formlabs and the others, they've got a tilt and peel, or they've got a shift and peel. And so all the more industrial ones have a means to prevent that stretch while the material is not fully cured.
Instead of being pulled from up here, it's being tilted from down here, so it's less stress on it. I feel like I've even seen some that have a wipe. I mean, I know powder beds do, but like I feel like I've even seen some resins that have some kind of a blade mechanism that also
some of the DLPs used to have that.
Formlabs has that, where it literally will just have the bottle in the back and will only release enough liquid, and then we'll just wipe it and cure like that layer to make sure it's like clean and whatnot. It's pretty nice.
The old like 3D Systems SLAs, you know, the build platform would be here and there'd be a laser mechanism in the top, kind of like a galvo laser, and it would just drop enough to have the top surface cure and then drop enough so there was no release, and you know they were able to make very high precision parts with that.
I feel like Uncle Jesse reviewed a printer not long ago, or maybe it was a while ago now, that was like looked like a rocket ship, and it was kind of like that. It printed like the opposite direction what you're describing, where it basically and it allowed to print much faster. I don't know tons about it, but I just have a vague memory of this thing.
And then it like comes up through the resin at the end. Is that
Yeah.
Is that how?
Yeah, top down.
Go watch the intro or the beginning of Small Soldiers. Remember the movie Small Soldiers? At the beginning, they like this is like a late 90s movie, and they 3D print the toys using that method. And that was like the first time I've ever seen 3D printing, was like little old me watching this shitty little movie from the 90s. And I'm like, ooh, look at the toys with the laser.
That's exactly how I got.
And that
3D
was
printing.
a legit 3D printer from the 90s. It was like one of the old Stratuses or something.
Yeah, the Moonrays do that too, I think. I don't even know if Moonray's still in business or not.
Moonray.
Guys used to
Yeah,
go with
I haven't
them.
heard about them in a long time. I mean, they were exclusively focused on the dental realm, so I don't know if they were getting further and further into that niche. I think at one point they were doing medical and other stuff as well, but they specifically were like, no, we're just doing dental. But I haven't looked them up in quite a few years. You know, I think they're based out of. Are they based out of?
What's the
Southern
company
California?
called? What's the company?
Moonray?
Moonray?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Sprint
Moonray.
Ray. I thought Moonray was the model. Sprint Ray was.
No,
the
Moonray
company.
was the model. Yeah, Print Ray, I think, was the company.
They have a Kickstarter from 2016.
That's where they
Yeah, I don't-
started. Yeah.
Sprint
I want to
Ray.
pause and interject really quickly that donations right now for the Hawaii charity drive are up to $27.50. So thank you. When
Nice.
Shane jumps back in, he'll be sure to list all the big donos and see if anybody's tortured him with any punishment.
Oh, there's
There he
punishments.
is right there.
Of course they did.
Of course they did. So I think
Why?
and
Worst
for those
mistake of the
watching,
year.
thank you for your support. And if you see the link go by, if you can help out, it is this is all for a great cause.
And I would just like to give a special shout out for those who just, went crazy. You had David Randolph with 500. You had RC Maniac with another 500. You had multiple people dropping $100 and everything else. We're now 6 hours in, and we're already well over halfway to our goal. I'm kind of curious to
awesome.
see if we can go over the goal.
I think we'll double the goal.
Oh yeah, we'll make
Hell
it.
yeah.
Oh yeah.
I think we'll hit 10K.
Easily.
Yeah,
That's
you
my
guys can
personal
just-
goal, 10K.
Yeah, well, Krusty still has that, the spicy jerky
With Scorpion,
torture.
right?
Yeah, I think he hasn't done any yet, and I think it'd be an excellent time because I can hold off on my redeems and then do it at the same time and see who dies first of excessive heat.
Well, I mean,
How about this? What would you guys say if we did a giveaway?
Yeah.
Would you guys be
Do
okay?
it.
with
Always
that?
good. People
Yeah.
like giveaways.
All right. So since we're in the 3D printer maker one, let's see what we got. Chris, you alive? You can blink. Sorry, Chris Riley, are you alive? You can blink twice.
I'm alive. I'm not
Okay.
being held hostage by anyone.
Okay, I just wanted to make sure. All right, let me find the stuff that I need to. All right, form 2. All right, so got people in chat. All right, let me
think
do
it's
it
a
this
good
way
idea.
first.
LDO and E3D maybe.
Well, I think we go LDO. We could do printed solid. We could do Prusa and E3D. Let's talk about knock out a bunch.
Okay.
All right. So for those of you who weren't here earlier on, some of the prizes are region locked, or however you want to say it. So I'll let you know which one's which. If you win this one, you have to be present. I'm going to give a form out. You're going to fill it out, and I'll call your name. One thing is that if you're not in the designated country, you can either give it to someone in that country that you know, or offer it up for a reroll. If you win, your name gets entered into the grand prize. At the end of the stream, it's going to be for a Mark IV and an enclosure from Prusa. And you don't have to be around for that. And this is open for everyone, okay? For mods, for our panelists, for everyone you want to. So what I'm going to do...
And how would one enter?
I'm going to put a form in the chat. Once that form is there, you have 5 minutes to fill it out. One form per username that's on here, because I know some people like to go crazy with things. All right. So when I hit enter, you have 5 minutes. 1 second. And go.
There you go.
Have fun with paperwork, everyone.
It's the only thing it is just your name, email, your shipping information, basically, because then that all goes to the sponsors and they handle it. As far as the turnaround time, with the upcoming holiday and everything else, I think about 1 to 2 weeks before you get a shipping label.
Hey, Chris Riley, a question for you, since I've seen you post in the candy claw machine quite a few times, and as a person that used to love candy claws as a kid, did you use that on Halloween by chance?
So not this year, but we did last year.
Okay.
So and I get lost in when, because we made it came to Earth 22, so that we made it for that show, and it came there, and then that the year at what, yeah, so like I don't even remember when that, so that's the end of September, so yeah, it would have been in late October 22 we did for that, and the kids like that's one of the main reasons. So what the candy claw came out because I was just a kid, right, that loved the candy claw machine, that would waste all the money on that, and you'd get the prize that you just wanted another one, you really didn't care about, it was just the goal, right?
Yep.
So the candy claw machine came out of that. But honestly, it's like you build so many 3D printers and then you have all of these parts. Like, well, what is what's a natural progression, if you have all these 3D printed parts, but you don't 3D printers, you have to go through all this accuracy and all this trial and tribulation and artifacts. Well, just make a claw machine. You don't have to do anything. It's not accurate at all. So it was actually a really fun build.
Yeah.
So well, and you get to kind of design it just by holding your thumb up and hoping stuff's for the best, and you go for it. But yeah, and that the biggest reason I did a couple different iterations trying to improve on it a little bit here and there, try to get the hardware down to less than 50 different types of screws or so, things like that. But then the kids that love to play it, I mean, if you're a claw machine kid, because you didn't have to pay or anything, but they would be just lined up fighting over trying to play the claw machine. So I was kind of starting to worry taking it around places and different shows that somebody was going to get hurt. So that's the only reason why we stopped with the claw machine. We didn't take it in 23. It only came out once. But so we had to stop. Everybody's like, "Where's the claw machine?" It's like, well, I actually started to get a little worried that somebody was gonna get a little overzealous. But yeah, it's a lot of fun on Halloween for sure.
Yeah, I remember when I saw you building it and showing it off the first time, I'm like, that's cool. I again, when I was a kid, played a fair bit here and there at the local restaurant, and like you said, it wasn't really about getting the prize. It was just like the getting something into the score, into the winning something. So that's fun.
Absolutely. No, that's I wish I could do more stuff like that. But there's so, as everyone on this knows, like starting from scratch with nothing, right? And then going to that, there's so much work. And then if you'd like
Yeah.
to make content on top of that, it 10 times what the work would be to do something.
Yeah.
So I would love to, I wish I had more time to dedicate to things like that, because that's what I enjoy doing. Because I mean, after you've made so many 3D printers and you've done, there's always just a little bit new coming out, right? So I
Sure.
mean,
Yeah.
but we don't make huge jumps all the time that you really get excited about. So I would love to spend more time doing projects like that.
Yeah, you got to change it up every now and then too, right?
Yeah.
I got to hit you up when we do the gotcha machines that we're planning on doing for like the little mystery balls.
Yeah.
Things. We're planning on making one for a Comic-Con we're going to next year.
Nice. Yeah, all of that, definitely, if there's anything I can do, let me know. But all that's out there on GitHub. Hopefully it's somewhat organized so you can at least take some of the firmware controls or whatever, because that was a bit tricky. But also I was more focused on making it kind of like a 3D printer, which probably actually made it more difficult in the long run. But you could probably done it by hand a little easier, but you do what you do. But I'm a person that likes to build a lot of stuff, right? I'm a homeowner. There's always something to fix, right? When you own a home. So it's like, building decks or rooms, or, I like building things. So anytime I can get out of that space, the better. Like I've built cloud computers here before, and I mean, just all kinds of different stuff. But 3D printing, I really love it as a tool and a hobby, making printers even better, like trying to see how far you can take it. And that has just exploded in the last couple of years, like fixing things in software and stuff. It gets really crazy, but it's good to build other stuff once in a while.
I would like to say hello to my new best friend who was on the previous panel, Miss Polinsky, for donating $100 and having Mr. Russell enjoy his jerky.
Oh boy.
And you know what? I'm sorry. After, just to make sure he does this, I'll announce we'll run the raffle after he does it. Because I'm far well above and beyond. Really, gloves?
I'm not getting this powder on my hand, man.
Oh, is it a spicy? What is it? Spicy beef jerky or?
Yes.
Very.
Because somebody thought it was a very good idea to do, little redeems.
Oh, here.
And then
We'll suffer together. I have these here. So we'll suffer together. These are Albany's world's best. They're gluten free, so I'm going to be suffering here, and they're fat free and low sodium.
They're delicious.
I know they actually are really.
Oh, that's bigger than a nibble.
Well, that's a nibble.
Wait. Hold on one second. Hold on.
It makes up for the one that I was going to hit him with earlier because my mom donated $100 but didn't pick a reward, so I was going to make you eat it too. So.
Okay. I'll be nice. I won't do them full.
Oh, don't smell it. Just eat it.
There's currently 3 Chris's on this screen. So Chris, 3
I
times.
got you on full screen. You got this. Oh, what's wrong?
Gooey.
You got it. You got
That's not
this.
too bad.
Yeah.
Wait for it to hit underneath your tongue.
No, it's once he swallows it and you just feel the fire going down the esophagus.
Turns into a volcano.
Yay.
Good job.
There you go. That was
Wasn't too bad.
uneventful. Yeah.
Ooh.
Oh, here it comes.
Yeah, it's not too bad.
That's great.
Where'd you get
All
that?
right.
Don't touch your eyes for a bit.
All
Oh,
right,
you
guys,
need
give me
some
1
milk.
second to fit.
Oh, that's nothing compared to the pickles we did last year.
Spicy pickles. Ooh.
6 million Scovilles.
Ooh.
Oh.
I've never done like spicy food challenges. Like I like a little bit of spice, but I've never done a spicy food challenge thing like one chip or any of that.
No way.
I like mild.
Last time my family participated in one, I was pregnant, so I wasn't allowed to. And it was supposed to be the devil's
That's from
toe.
Chris.
Give me 1 second. Just let me get this set up here.
A bunch of my buddies in California did the Hot Ones challenge and asked if I wanted to be a part of it. And I said, no, not really, but I'll go watch you guys. And so I had the best role. All I did was hand out wings, read the definition of each thing they were about to eat while I sipped on whiskey and got to watch their reactions.
There you go.
Yeah, I think I won. It was the first time I've seen all my friends cry in the same. Well, yeah, I mean, like, it was a wild experience.
I've been tear gassed. I really don't want to relive that kind of feeling again. It's no.
Oh, tear gassing is bad.
Not fun.
It
Boot
sucks.
camp
And then
tear
you
gas
forget.
is bad.
The best is when you forget that the clothes you were wearing was tear gassed as well, and then you pack them in a bag, and then like several months later, you're like, "Oh, this stuff's in a bag. Is it clean?" And you pull it out and you take a big whiff of it. Yeah, that's always fun. And then you're like, "Oh wait, this was the stuff I wore in the gas hut." Yeah, and then you proceed to spend the afternoon crying, decontaminating everything. Fun times.
Okay, the
One
worst
more
part of
second,
that was
sorry.
the powder on it.
Probably didn't.
Why am I
How did
still
it actually
spotlight?
taste?
Like
Was it actually
fire.
good jerky? Yeah, so it's not even good jerky.
No, the jerky wasn't even good.
Yeah, that's the downside. It's like, oh, it's really hot, but does it taste good? No, it's just hot.
Yeah, I like heat. I just don't like heat for the sake of heat. Like
Once it stops becoming a flavor, then it's too much.
Yeah. Well, next event that we both make it to, I'll bring you some pickles.
Me or Nero? Or both.
All right, I'm going to try to do
both.
this. Hopefully, it's not going to crash
I'll-
again.
Send me a reminder. I'll bring however many you want.
I want pickles.
Oh, screen sharing. Oh, there we
Yep.
go. Wheel of names.
There we go. All right, so hopefully this doesn't crash, and we're going to go. Can't even talk. All right. So first up is a 5-pack of PLA from Printed Solid. This is a US only package. So 1 second. And let's see. I turned off the slow mode. So if I call out your name, you have 60 seconds to say hi, basically.
Hi.
Not you. Is your name Kenneth Ferguson?
It is
Huh?
actually.
Is it?
Actually, no. It's,
Wait, that's
I have
my
seen
name.
that name before.
Oh, we got Sean in there too.
Kenneth, are you here?
All right. Well, while you guys finish these, I'm gonna go eat my lunch. So I will be back in a bit.
That's me. Okay. All right. Next up is a 120 milliliter container of Gloop. I think the last one was in the US, so we're up to the US again. Kenneth, I'm going to remove you. Again, you'll be entered into the thing. 1 second. Hold on. I know what I did. Before I get.
Yep. Make sure you write the name down.
I did. I just going to do one thing real quick. Make it a lot easier for many people.
I've done that before where I forget, and then I have to go back and watch
Shane,
the
I
stream
just
and be like,
dropped my name
whose
in.
name did I draw again?
Hmm?
Kenneth.
Oh, I've done that. Or I don't know. Who was saying that?
There you go. That's better.
Okay.
There we
No, I took out all the names because I did all the full names and make it
Yep.
easier. Because
Yep.
I'm not that smart of a person. All right. Next up
So many things
is
to pay
for the
attention
gloop.
to.
My brain is basically shot at this point.
You got how many hours to go?
I've been up since midnight last night, and it's
Oh,
now
wow.
9 a.m.
Ooh.
Lord get face. Congratulations.
Yeah,
Yeah, this is a 24-hour stream, right? Oof. I've done
Yeah.
10. That's the longest I've streamed is 10 hours. And that was
Is that the V0 from start to finish?
Yeah. Which I
was
may
sort of-
it's been a while. I may try and break that because there's I guess it's technically a commissioned build of a V2 I may be doing in the future. And I'm tempted to see if I can maybe do a marathon of a V2, like a weekend.
Two in one stream is good luck.
It'd be a weekend. It would be a weekend. It would be if I was going to do it, it'd be a weekend.
Like
The
two
problem is though,
12-hour
I'm sitting there. I'm
streams.
like, Yeah, the thing is, like, either I'm like, this is either a month and a half of content, or I could just go crazy and do it in a weekend. Like, that's the thing when I look at builds now. It's like, it's how much content. That's what happens when all of a sudden everything you do is a stream. You have to
You
look
see
at it that
things in
way.
algorithm. All you see is
Yeah,
algorithm.
All right,
like I have
next
to-
up is for a Prusa MK3S Plus.
Ooh.
Ooh.
Dang.
Okay.
Round and round she
Come
goes.
on. Big money, big money.
Lightburn entered. What's Lightburn gonna do with it if they win?
Lightburn is one of our
Lightburn
sponsors.
entered.
Well, if it's
Faraz, are you
Lightburn
here?
spelt in leet speak, that's actually me.
Ah,
Somebody went to the desert and got a lead name that happened to be the company that I work for. And there was no connection there. And it was a very strange experience when they came home and I learned about this.
There's a whole story behind it, and I'll tell, but we're in the middle of a raffle.
Faraz, hello, are you there?
Yep.
Hello.
There they
Okay,
are.
good, you're there.
Hey.
All right, congratulations.
That like moment of waiting is just so suspenseful.
Oh, you have to be in chat to win. Oh,
Yeah,
I
yeah, yeah.
stopped. I had to stop doing that on my channel because it's the streams are too long and there's people all over the world, and I felt unfair.
Polar Ted Club.
But for this, it makes sense.
Well, it's just for this one though. The way I
Yeah,
was
for
just
this,
trying to do it's just But no, I completely get that. All right. So next up is a Orbiter V2 extruder.
Nice.
It's a very good. It's a very good extruder.
No.
See, 3D printer maker approved. Who is going to get it?
Ooh,
John. I'm sorry, no offense. I'm very
John
bad with
Y.
names. Yes, John Y. John Y, are you here? I'm here watching building my new V2.4. Well, now you can add a Prusa Mark III S Plus to your farm. Thank you. Hopefully we'll hit it. John, I'm not going to say your last name.
no,
There you go. Hello.
There you are.
Congratulations.
Now, is that your actual last name? Or is that a
no,
screen name? I'm curious. I know you don't want
Really?
to say it.
This is why I tell people to put their screen name.
Well, my
That's
screen
what I
name on
did.
YouTube is my name.
All right.
It's the name.
Next up, LDO version 2.4 motor kit. Since we're doing the whole, I'll just
It can also go towards a micron, right? Steven, you?
No.
Hmm?
No.
No, Micron uses NEMA 14s.
NEMA 14s for and the Z motors in this are too big
the
for micro.
Breckham.
Yep.
Gotcha.
Congratulations. Are you in
Abercam?
chat? Abercam. See, this is why I need other people to actually read names.
I don't know if I got it right. Don't listen to
Wexer
me.
is probably
Abercam.
just sitting there cracking up laughing watching this, going, oh, what an idiot. It's Welsh. Okay.
Although, actually, with the Galileo Z, you might be able to. Or wait, no, does that use 14s too? I can't remember. On a Micron.
I uses the little round steppers.
Oh, yeah, that's right. That's right.
Abercam, have we seen them yet? There it is.
There you are.
Okay. Awesome. All right. And lastly, I just decided to throw this one in. The sponsor did approve of it. So, but 1 year license for Lightburn.
Oh, nice.
Intent. So
I got to
Oh,
get a
man,
laser.
now I wish
I would
would've
crack up laughing if Joe
Joe
Spun was on it.
entered.
Come on. Let the memes be real.
No.
James McDonald.
Congrats
James,
on
are
getting
you
good
there?
software.
That is awesome software. If you can't use it, I would recommend holding on to it. You might know someone who needs it.
I need to get a laser. I've been wanting to play with one for so long now, but I can't. Like, I need to get one.
We
Yes, you
have
do.
one and haven't been able to set it up because we don't have a safe space to set it up.
That's the thing. If I get any laser I get, it has to be fully enclosed. And the fellow content creator people here, you get offered the shitty unenclosed ones like
He's
Yes,
here.
I'm here. Good. Yay.
Yeah,
I'll tell you
ours is
so.
just
CO2.
All right. Sorry, just real quick, just for the winners, congratulations. Give about 1 to 2 weeks for the sponsors to reach out to you to arrange delivery. Now, ouch. Again, at the very end of the stream, we're going to have a grand prize drawing. You will automatically be entered in. You do not need to be present for that. If anything, I will notify via social media, one way or the other. Thank you all for playing. Oh yeah, god damn it. All right, because I know I'm a few redeems behind, and this is like god awful, and I hate myself.
which one is it?
It's the friggin' the bamboozle and the toxic.
Just know, Peak said if he joins, when he joins you, if anybody does toxic waste, he will eat some of his that are like 3 years old.
Sweet. Okay.
Yes, and
Stop share.
there you go.
Yeah. To the other content creators
I
that are on
can't.
here, do not recommend
Nope.
doing this.
Are they?
It seems like a
uh,
good idea
what
at
was it?
first. The box is in check,
Oh,
so
I thought like the Harry
Spicy,
Potter
whatever.
jelly beans or whatever, the ones that have
oh
like
no,
gross
wait.
flavors.
Oh, I took the wrong one.
Oh yeah, those
I'm
are.
sorry.
that's what
I
it is.
I took the wrong one. Ah, great.
Here, I'll
So,
suffer too. I'll eat my
Soap.
gummies.
Were you
see, now you're
supposed to
gonna
take
cause a huge.
a Birdie Bots and not a Bean Boozled?
No, it was the other way around. I took a birdie and I was supposed to be a bamboozle, I think. I'll fix it.
I love the names for these, the Birdie and Bamboozles.
Well, I'm joining him on the Bamboozled, and I just got dead fish for the 3rd time.
Ooh.
No.
Ooh.
I can't even.
No.
I can't even finish it.
Oh,
I can't. It has not survived a single time.
Good.
yeah,
Nope, not a
it's again,
chance.
don't recommend it.
Great
Ah,
to play with family, though. I will recommend that, especially if you have younger siblings. Great to torture them.
Or children.
let's see here. Just give me 1 second. I want to check in with chat, make sure they're okay. Thank you so much.
Yeah.
Neo
My mom and
30 is
them-
almost too eager to eat those jelly beans.
I haven't had lunch yet. That's why.
Neither.
Yeah, neither have I. We're all hungry. I'm like, I got beef jerky and all
I
sorts of
could
good stuff.
I could do with some
Well,
gummy
it's like-
bears right now.
It's like 3:20 right now. Well,
No,
it's
there's
earlier
something
for
wrong
you
with that
guys.
jerky because I mean that's not either like there wasn't enough spice on like the edges or it's just
You got the
Next
mild
time,
ones.
shake the bag first,
You need
so
to
you get all the
dig to the
powder.
bottom.
Yeah.
Oh,
Chris has a great poker face when it could be it too. He said he
I
didn't
know.
go to lunch, but he's actually
He's like-
crying. the other
yeah,
day.
he's like, I'm gonna go grab something to
He
eat.
hasn't come back yet.
Yeah, he's like, I gotta go to lunch.
Well, he was wiping his eyes, like trying to clear that a little bit after, so it did
Wait.
hit.
Hold on. Because I'll fix the bamboozle thing. It's saying we are at $3,071.50.
Nice.
Thank you
Nice.
to
Thank you,
oh yeah, I'm just
guys.
gonna read off some quick thanks here. Test of Wiz 13, $25. Thank you. Anonymous, quote unquote. Oh, no, I can't look because I'm gonna be afraid to look. Mr. Grinch, 50. Support the 808. Mr. Riley, thank you very much. Oh. Thank you to my brand new best friend, Mr. Riley, quote unquote, no torture for my buddy Shane. You could have tortured Krusty, but still, thank you. I'm spared.
Can't do it.
Mad Cat USA for $3. Thank you very much. Shammy for 15. Thank you. All right, let's see who's torturing me. Toxic. God damn it. That's 2 toxic wastes.
Your tongue is gonna be so raw by the end of
It
this.
already is. I
like-
can feel like cankersaurs and stuff, you know?
Well, what's gonna be worse is when you
Yeah.
sit there and you take one of those spicy ones on top of that toxic waste, it's gonna seep into your tongue. It's gonna
Can
be
you please not
fantastic.
jinx? Can you please not jinx me? Because I'm still going through the rewards, and I still had to fix that the bean that I screwed up. Clock spring boxes. Okay,
Yeah.
and okay, we're good.
Totally
Alright,
fair that
so
you fixed the bean that you screwed up because I ate dead fish.
congratulations. You thought it was a good idea to do this, so
I was the one that decided that you shouldn't do this alone.
Hmm.
When we saw the votes, so I thought it was being nice.
Sounds
Remember,
like
you have to be
one
nice
point,
again.
I, Shane.
I'm sorry.
At one
It sounds like there was pity being taken on you.
No, 70% of my friends are sadistic so and so's. And only 30% were like, no, we'll be nice to you. So yeah, you find out who your friends are real quick on something like this.
I just get you to play video games. That's all I do.
Hey, yeah, there's nothing wrong with my bank account hates you. Because every
Yeah,
single
they're-
time you
they're-
play a game, I'm like, oh, that looks so good. And next week you change games and that one looks better. And I'm like, yeah, great.
Did
thanks,
you
man."
play Armored Core 6 yet?
Of course.
Yeah.
Oh, that was so. There's okay. I know you guys are all into designing printers and everything else, right? But there's a guy on Cults. He's starting to design armor cores.
Oh, I need to do that.
It's like
Oh.
3D. You can type in armor core or even Raven, and you'll see it. It's in check. Why am I even looking at
It's like the only reason I still keep around a few resin printers is that kind of stuff because
well,
that's
these
pretty
ones
much all I use it for.
These ones are an FDM. You can just assemble them and everything else. They're almost as close to like action figures of them, so they're really good.
Yeah, I'm looking at them. Ooh, do I want to make a full size Zimmerman?
Yes.
Shotgun.
Are they like Toy Maker 3D level builds?
Similar, very, very similar.
Okay.
Yeah, it's kind of like
This stuff's so fun.
the Gunpla. I think is it Gunpla?
Yeah.
Is how you pronounce it?
Yeah, Gunpla is the phrase for
Gundam.
Gundam or
Yeah.
other like
Mech.
PLA based model kits.
Oh,
Toy
that'd be
Maker
nice.
stuff is.
Oh yeah,
has
there's
been
a
on my list
bunch
for a
of good
long time.
models.
What is this
They're
place?
It's
I'm just on
Cult-
Cults. I'm just looking up Armored Core on Cults.
Mm.
Yeah, there's a bunch of good ones. Okay, I guess I know what I'm printing later.
Are they tons of pieces like the Toy Factory stuff, or no? Because Toy Factory, some of those
No,
were like
it's-
hundreds of pieces. I thought, right? Or is that
Depends on the model.
Okay.
Yeah, because I think you're thinking about there's a Optimus Prime MP class,
Uh,
and that one it actually transforms and everything else, but it's like hundreds and hundreds of pieces.
yeah.
Wow.
Krusty
fun.
lives.
I got food. Remind me not to do that after on an empty stomach again.
No, really?
Oof.
No, but it was
That's what I
convenient. My wife had texted that lunch was ready, so salad and spaghetti sitting on top of the jerky.
Oof.
Now you
For
just need
now.
to jump up a few times, mix it all up, make sure you know.
No.
No, it's there. It's well settled and
At one point, I was because you stream 3 days a week, you start making a list of things to do, and at one point, I had to do a hot sauce challenge during a build stream, and I'm kind of glad that idea never came to fruition right now. I'm like, I can always pull that out of my back pocket if I'm hurting for content. Just do a build and just eat all the hot sauces. But watching you guys, no, I'm good. I'm good, bro.
Not a chance.
No,
Every time you drop a screw or a nut, you have to have
Oh.
a dab of hot sauce.
I'd be done. I'd be done.
Yeah.
That's my thing.
I got butterfingers.
Between accidentally Mike and then between dropping screws, that's my thing.
there you
Eating
go.
grub screws.
Well, we had
Eating grub screw. Well, I can print those now out of chocolate, so I'm okay for my addiction for those.
Actual grub.
Which, by the way, 3D printed shot glasses don't work out too well. Cocoa Press chocolate is not water containing when printed in vase mode. Just so you're aware.
Cool idea, though.
Oh,
Yeah, I
no,
tried.
what you could easily do is take melted chocolate and drizzle it on the inside. So as it's solidifying, it would seal it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, the caramel held up. I've already made salted caramel, so I've already like paused the print, filled it with caramel. I've done coconut. I've done
I want to do
Canada's
raspberry
crop.
filling.
I've done a few other things. And it actually works really good.
Have you tried doing cherry blossoms yet?
No. I made
Yeah.
Reese's Pieces. I made some homemade Reese's Pieces that actually
That
turned out
sounds
pretty good.
delicious.
I know cherry blossoms are like an old woman's candy, but I love them.
Yep.
I don't know.
What are
I don't know what
cherry
that is, and I love candy. Yeah. What is-
It's
The
a
coconut
Canadian-
actually worked out really good. I made some coconut bars, so I basically just catted up a tube or a generic candy bar shape, and then I filled it with shredded coconut, and then I paused the print. I filled it with shredded coconut, and then it finished the print. Which coconut makes a great whatchamacallit, support material for
infill?
that.
Did you do this on
Yeah.
stream, Taylor or Nero?
No, I didn't do that on stream. I'm saving
Oh.
that for video
I
because I
want
do
you to
videos on my channel.
swap out for like a kitchen apron and do like a new segment, which is like Nero. I don't know, foods with something like there's just so much.
I'm gonna be doing I'm probably gonna, because you know I have to justify the Cocoa Press expense because I bought one,
Yes.
so I have to justify its expense. So I probably will be doing a video series on, you know, can you print that or something. So yeah, I'll probably end up using it for that. Because the
I
problem
love the
is doing
idea
it
of
on the
swapping
stream,
out
you
the
can only
apron,
you have to start the print, then like 30 minutes into the print, you have to pause it, then you can do the fill, and then you hit resume, and then you got to wait for it to finish. And then the way the Cocoa Press is, it's not a fast machine to change filament or change chocolate on. You have to, like, if you don't finish the tube, you have to like let it cool down, re-solidify, take the tube out, push the slug of what's left out. Hopefully it doesn't get stuck in the nozzle, and then you got to clean that. Then you got to put the new chocolate in. Then you got to wait like 20 minutes for it to heat up so it'll consistently extrude properly. It's not a fast machine, but it'll do a 30-minute benchy, but it's not a fast machine to use. It's a machine where you push a button, you come back in a bit. You push a button, you come back in a bit. So
V2 will be a Tridex spinoff then. So you've got your two options for
Well,
fillings.
I've been telling Ellie she needs to sell, like, obviously right now, because they're just starting up and ramping up, it makes sense to sell the completed kits. But at some point, to sell just the tool head as its own thing, so people can put it on their own motion system, because you don't need a Core XY motion system. So even something simple like a converted ender or something, right? So you could have two IDEX. So you can do, like, you know, a white chocolate with dark chocolate or whatever.
Yeah, that'd be cool.
The only thing is you're still limited by the 65 grams of the slug of chocolate, because I've tried, you can like reload during a print, but it's
sketchy.
Yeah, it's sketchy.
How does supports work on that?
I haven't tried yet. I haven't tried. It's chocolate.
Everything I've ever printed on it was spiral vase or, you know, very large infill, but like they work ish. I did try one that had supports, and like it doesn't bridge well. So
no, it just you can print a benchy. There's no cooling.
Yeah.
And that was something, oh my God. If any of you guys ever build one of these, you're going to get a million questions. Why don't you have cooling? Or why don't you cool the bed? Or why is there no part fan? You're going to get a million of them, because I got a million of them. You know, explain. It extrudes at 33 degrees Celsius. That's how hot it is. It's 33. Your room temperature is like 20 to 25, depending on where you're at. So you have this little delta of temperature where it's either solid chocolate or it extrudes properly. If you drop the temperature like 2 degrees, it jams. So
gotcha. It'd be problematic.
Once it comes out of the nozzle, it basically gets to its final shape pretty quickly. So if you're blasting it to the point where you'd actually cool it enough to help with the cooling, like the actual structure, you're probably cooling the nozzle to the point where you're going to get jams. Like there is such a narrow window when it actually works that if you were to add a fan to it, it would probably gum it up. It probably would.
Something. Yeah, you need something like a bird cooling system or something. Or
yeah, it would have to cool. And the thing
called.
is, if you know, this isn't something Ellie designed last weekend. This is something that they've been working on for a decade now.
The sixth
so
iteration.
Yeah. So if adding, you know, a $3 fan helped it, they would have added a $3 fan. Like the previous machine was in a fridge,
Right.
And for the record, I did try because right now the machine's in my garage, and in the morning it's like 5 or 6 degrees Celsius in my garage. I tried printing in a cold garage to see if that helps. No, it doesn't. If anything, it actually makes it worse because if you're doing like your first layer, the first layer that you get down, because the bed is so cold, as the nozzle comes by, it actually shaves up the chocolate and it actually builds up on the nozzle. It actually causes shavings versus just kind of pushing the semi-molten chocolate out of the way. If the chocolate cools too quick, it'll actually like shave it, and it kind of screws up the first couple layers. But yeah, I didn't notice any difference in print quality printing it in a cold garage versus a room temperature garage. So
We'll go upside down.
well, what you do is you just drop the bed all the way and you just put your head under it and go,
There you go.
There's no fails with that. I tried a vase mode print last night in white chocolate, which is like the hardest one to do, and it failed, but it's still chocolate. Like,
Let's just fail it. Yeah. My kids love it when I get fails on that printer. It's like, here.
yeah. I've got 2 drawers in the freezer or the fridge outside because I'm keeping everything obviously until I can like get the video done, and then I'm gonna gorge myself. But I've got like the things that are good for like the B-roll, orbiting shot of like the demo of the print, and then I've got the stuff to be consumed on camera that doesn't look as good, but it's good. And then I've got this under extruded for a layer after the pause or whatever that cosmetically looks like garbage, but it still tastes good. That drawer is pretty much empty right now. I've taken care of most of those.
Nice.
So I don't know if the crunching got on mic.
Nope.
All right, so we have a couple more donors. We're up to $3,156.50. Aricum, $10. Thank you very much. John Y, $50. Thank you very much. PF Dennis, $25. Thank you very much. Shammy at $15. Thank you very much.
Yeah, somebody in chat saying, yeah, room temperature in Australia is 35 degrees Celsius. Yeah, you wouldn't even have to use the heater. This printer would be so energy efficient down there because you wouldn't have to use the heater.
Yeah, just puddles of chocolate.
And then of course, it's like, oh, I should print some Voron parts in this. And I'm like, and then I sat down and actually did some reading. I'm like, yeah, when the glass transition temperature of your material is room temperature, I don't think it'll work as a printer part.
No.
So if you think PLA is bad for printer parts, chocolate's a little worse.
I mean, if they could make those slugs thinner and like so it fit inside of a drinking straw, you could turn a hot glue gun maybe into a one of the 3D printing guns.
It's hilarious. If you can, load up Prusa Slicer, because the new version of Prusa Slicer has the Cocoa Press in it as one of the options. And you pull up the settings and you go into like the filament section, and it's like diameter 21.66 millimeters. And you're
like... They were pretty stoked when they got that in.
It's so nice to work with, because it's like, think about it. If any other company, like any commercial company, were to come out with this machine, it would be RFID chocolate. You'd have to pay a monthly subscription to get the new profiles for the chocolate. It would cost 3 times as much. The slicer would be its own thing that's proprietary. You know that. Like,
for sure.
The fact that this is like, yeah, just use the Prusa Slicer. If you want to build it yourself, you pretty much can, except for a few parts. Like, here you go. It's like, yay, open source.
Is Cocoa Press, this variant, targeted more towards then like a home hobbyist type thing versus going inside of a bakery? Or I'm just curious because like all of us are familiar with 3D printing and Prusa Slicer, but like the cake maker might not be familiar with Prusa Slicer and that. So I'm just curious if like
I think that's kind of their goal though, is to get it to the point where the Prusa Slicer process is easy enough for the cake makers. Because
pretty
it's
much
very click and print.
The only settings I've messed with it, I've printed probably about between like close to 10 maybe slugs of chocolate so far. The only things I've ever changed in the settings were the infill percentage and vase mode. Yeah, you could turn on vase mode for a print, and then some prints I just turned off infill so I could fill it with stuff. But like I've printed a bunch of stuff with just the default settings where it's like just load the model,
Yeah,
hit print,
that's
and that's
fine.
the stock profile is pretty set. And the
Good.
thing is, temperatures aren't controlled by the slicer. Temperatures are on the machine. There's actually no temperature
Okay.
control in the slicer. So if
Is
you
the
want to change the
profile
temperature, you just
skin
push it.
down, or do you still have access to all of the usual stuff, like in all the different tabs as far as?
Oh, you can still adjust everything.
Okay.
It's the normal
But you
person
can
slicer
run it
profile.
from like beginner mode because
Yeah.
there's just not that much
You
to
won't
adjust.
need
Yeah.
all of those things. Yeah.
No,
And you
base
could-
mode,
you could-
infill percent.
Yeah, and you
and
could even
walls.
save those as different slicer profiles. So base mode profile, 5% profile, 10% profile.
Yep.
You just select what profile you want and you're done.
Yep.
Yeah.
It's pretty simple, and because it's a machine more, you have to instead of how do I word this? How do I word this? You have to know the limitations of the machine and work within it, instead of how we kind of do it with 3D printing, where it's like we're going to overcome these limitations. Like, no, you're printing chocolate. You're not going to be able to do that 6 centimeter bridge. Don't bother.
Right.
So you need to print things that take advantage of the process instead of trying to fight it. Because again, you're printing chocolate. You can only do so much with that. Let's be honest.
People have tried. I mean, I remember seeing paste type, some that were claiming for many, many years that they could do it. And the results I've seen off of the test prints, the stuff you've been doing, and just some other posts out there, it's the best I've ever seen from what a chocolate.
It's the
3D printer can do.
chocolate. It's the chocolate that they found. They found the PLA of chocolate.
Yep.
That's awesome.
And the way their process works, it can, because it's the way the extruder is, it can actually do a retract. So it can suck it back up a little bit. It's just a very simple process that it works. There is a little, you do have to heat soak it. You have to let it do its thing. You can't rush it, but it works. And considering we loaded it up, we built the machine, we loaded it up and hit print, and it just prints fine. Like compared to watch some, was it Andrew Sink? He had a video on a chocolate printer. I think his.
Yeah, they did.
That
It
was
was awful.
a mess.
Yeah, it was awful.
The original Cocoa Press. Go watch the LTT Cocoa Press video. That didn't come out too good back then, but that was the old machine. There was one that you took which was the one that you took the tool head off of an ender and you left the thermistor just kind of hanging there, and then you bolted on the chocolate extruder. There was one like that. It was the sketchiest thing I've ever seen.
It almost sounds like the one Andrew did. Andrew's was
that the same one Andrew did?
Yeah,
that
had the.
It was really rough.
Yeah,
that one had the gear. Can't think of the name of the bit, like an
auger?
Sweeping auger. Thank you. Yeah, that's the one that had the auger, and they had problems with like metal shavings and stuff in it. I think
that's it.
Awful.
Yeah, because that's the cool thing with the Cocoa
one of
Press,
those, didn't he?
Yeah.
No, I never had one of those.
Huh.
They reached out when the product was
They
out,
did
and I
here
looked at
too.
it and was like, I'm gonna wait just see when it comes. And then I saw the Andrew's video, and said, dodge the bullet. Yep.
Like I'll eat a grub screw, but metal shavings, that's too much.
Where you draw the line. No.
Yeah.
It's standards here,
Yeah, I mean, at least with the grub screw, you're getting your iron for the day.
Yeah. Well, somebody in my community actually made an STL of a grub screw, so I could 3D print them in chocolate.
Oh, there you
They
go.
actually made, that's where the shot glass came from. They made a shot glass
Grub screw.
STL that I printed at a grub screw. Yeah. So
That-
shot glass
That
grub
would
screw.
be a fun drinking game.
And then you eat the cup when you're done.
Yeah.
So you do a shot of Bailey's with the chocolate.
I was
Good
going to
to go.
say, what's the best liquor?
Or Kahlua.
Go with chocolate.
Kahlua.
Kahlua. Yeah.
The hot cocoa bombs that I made were delicious. I made hot cocoa bombs with it. That was really good.
Get
Yeah.
Kahlua chocolate rum. Hawaiian company called Kahlua, Koaloa, has a chocolate rum. That would probably be very good with those.
See, I would need to find something that's almost like caramel, like the caramel that I'm using, because I did caramel filled ones. I used chocolate, like caramel syrup that you would put on like ice cream or whatever. So I put that in. So you would need something kind of thick, because if it's too
thicker,
thin, it flows
It'll go
out.
through it, you're saying?
Yeah, because I ran into that with the shot. So
You can add like a cream, like a fuller cream to something.
gelatin, like heat it up and
top.
dissolve some gelatin in it, maybe.
I don't know.
I mean, you could just do jelly,
Yeah,
strawberry
you'd have-
filled, or
There, you could. I for those that know what a bulk barn is, I visited there the other day and picked up a bunch of stuff to put in chocolate for
It's a
some
bulk
videos.
barn.
Bulk barn is a magical place. If you ever go to Canada, go to a bulk barn.
Okay.
All it is a store that sells stuff in bulk. So the store looks like it's straight out of the
bulk.
80s. Bulk barn, yeah, bulk.
It sounded like you said bolt barn. That's how I was like,
Oh.
you got stuff to eat from a bolt barn.
No,
I'm like,
bulk
dude.
barn. Google it.
Okay.
It's a retail chain in Canada. All they do is sell stuff in bulk. So you go in there and they got all these little containers, and it's like you want Smarties, you want Skittles, you want caramel, you want whatever. You open up the thing, you get your little plastic baggie, you pour it in, your little zip tie, and write the number, and it's just all it is just stuff in bulk. So you can buy like whey protein in bulk. You can buy chocolate chips in bulk. It's just food items that they just sell in bulk. You can buy cereal in bulk, and a lot of times it's actually cheaper to buy it there.
Oh,
But-
so like
Grocery
a
store has that. Like what like Sprouts would have, or like a Winco has, but usually a smaller section of it. But they usually have a section where you
Yeah.
can get like.
So imagine a whole
you know,
store of that. That's bulk barn.
Gotcha.
That
That
sounds
sounds
wonderful.
dangerous.
Sounds like smart.
It is a dangerous store because they also sell candy. So if you want to buy, like, I bought those little caramel little squares, you know, little caramel squares that come wrapped that you eat, the caramel toffee. They sell those by themselves. They sell like the toffee inside from like a crunchy bar. They sell that by itself. It is a very dangerous store to be in. Especially when
Interesting.
yeah.
This is like
I'm like,
my normal stream. We always diverge into food talk at some point, and like we've hit that.
It-
We've pretty much been there throughout the entire thing.
I
and
mean,
I'm here. For it.
I made a career out of rambling on YouTube and building printers on the side, so I can't really complain.
I'm
Hey, I'm all in for
you.
you, torturing chat.
Machine right now.
I just threw a bulk barn link in chat.
It feels
let's
so
see.
weird to not be working on something and just sitting here. not
Yeah,
doing
we
I
can
know.
just hang out on camera.
Your hands.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I have a laser
oh, that's the
behind me that
website.
I have been building this whole stream. So
I never sit during normal stream because like
Same here.
I like to be, you know, but now I'm like, I'm just chilling, just hanging out on a bar stool, just
Yeah.
shooting, you know.
Well,
Yeah.
I started streaming on Twitch a couple months ago, so I do a Twitch stream like a couple days a week now. So this is actually my
Baldur's Gate,
Twitch
right, is
setup.
what you've been doing. Or
Yeah, I've been
you
playing
were doing?
Baldur's Gate
Yeah.
on there.
I
So
watched some of the highlight reels that you shared on X or Twitter, whatever we're calling it nowadays.
it's Twitter. It's Twitter.
Okay.
that's Twitter.
Yep.
But
Never heard anyone
basically
call it X.
after
No, if
it's something
Elon
I want.
can't call his own child what they want to be called, then
Yeah.
we're not going to call Twitter Twitter. Or,
Yeah,
or
I'm
Twitter
sorry if I go
X.
to if I go to twitter.com and the site loads, it's twitter.com. But it was
Until
as
that
fun.
date.
It was a thing I wanted to do for a bit, just kind of like, I'm at home all the time. The little guy's in school now, so it's like I've got, a couple hours a day. I got nothing. I'll try streaming on Twitch. But after what happened with 3D Print General, I won't say it's insurance, but as somebody who does
Yeah.
stream as my
Scary.
main content, if
Scary.
something ever happens on a live stream, which I do community challenges, right? I have my Discord open on stream on times. There are things that can happen from no fault of my own where, hey, all of a sudden I can't stream for a month. So it's nice to have that little offshore account that I can jump onto if I need to. That's already set up and people know about it. And hey guys, somebody entered something that I didn't see on the community challenge and YouTube banned me for a month. We're over here now. So
Have
that's
you
something
considered
as a
doing
streamer.
doing the multi. I've debated on doing it. I mean, I know it's not as good of an experience, but there is like chat consolidation things that'll put all chat in one place. And
So
Twitch changed their policy recently where it's allowed now even for partners and stuff. So
you can multi-stream. Technically, the chat integration is still not allowed on Twitch.
Gotcha.
YouTube doesn't care. YouTube doesn't
Yeah.
care. But basically, the way Twitch's rules for multi-streaming are, they don't want you. If somebody's watching it on Twitch, they don't want you to poach their viewer. So if you have links to, hey, watch me on YouTube too, you're not allowed to do that. You can't advertise that the stream is also available on other platforms. You can't have other platforms chat on screen. Now, granted, they haven't enforced that rule yet. So people have been doing it and nobody's been caught, like busted for it yet. But that is still technically a rule they have.
I've
But the
heard
problem
people
is
were trying-
discoverability.
I've heard people were trying to get around that by like locking their chat on Twitch, and or wherever else, locking it and using Discord chat.
That is another option too. I like having chat displayed on my screen when I'm streaming. The reason for that is a lot of people watch my VODs after the fact. So if they're watching it, a lot of people watch it on TV apparently. So at least if you're watching it full screen on TV, you can still see chat. So that's why I put the chat on screen. But the problem is discoverability. So right now, like when I stream on Twitch, pretty much it's already my community that's watching me already. Like it's already my captive audience that's going over to Twitch to watch me stream on games there. So if I were to start streaming video or YouTube stuff, like the stuff I normally do on YouTube on Twitch, it would be like starting fresh. So it's like, you might get a couple people, but odds are it's just going to be your community already. Like it's the same discoverability. It's Twitch is hard to get discovered on because there's no VODs on Twitch. There is, but nobody searches for them. Nobody goes and peruses not live content on Twitch. So you probably could do it.
With the copyright enforcement that happens with Twitch VODs in particular versus YouTube, it creates a very hostile environment for you to actually keep any of your VODs or even highlights.
Yep. I stream copyright free music specifically for streaming, so I don't have to worry about that. But like, let me see here. Like, I think actually because I did, you can technically, so my oldest VODs are expiring in 6 days on Twitch. So streams from September 25th will be deleted in 6 days off Twitch because Twitch doesn't keep your VODs forever.
It's not set up for really educational long form content because it's going to delete it eventually then.
Yeah, Twitch is good if you're watching it live and that's it.
I mean, you can automate it and have it, auto dump down to a YouTube channel or something.
Yeah.
If you wanted it for archival purposes.
Yeah, but then at that point, you might as well just stream on YouTube.
Well, I mean, again, if it's there for reference or archive or something, live streams are great. And I'm guilty of this too because of my live streams, but they're great when you're there and part of it. They suck to go back and watch because you get the same content from a 15-minute video spread out across 6 hours, and that 6 hours to scroll through when you just want to find out that nut goes there.
Yeah,
but there is some, like, I definitely get some comments from people that watch one of like the Voron builds or printer builds. They're like, oh my god, the part that you got stumped on is exactly where I got stumped. It was super helpful to watch how you figured out what to do beyond that point. So I would say that's mostly true, but there's definitely still some value in VOD content that was created from the stream, like just posted as is.
I get comments all the time with people going back and watching stuff.
Yep. Same here.
I've been. Oh my god, 6 hours for this.
Oh, that's why I turned the lights off. I started like on my Saturday night streams, we get into Nero After Dark where we just kind of go off the rails at some point. So when I get to that point in the streams, I turn the lights off so people get the graphical indication that we're yapping now.
That's funny.
So I kind of make it a point in my streams to at least structure them where like the first 10 to 15 minutes of my stream, I usually purposely don't dive into the content because people are coming in. It's the start of the stream. So I'll blank out the first 5 to 15 minutes of the stream and then the last bit too. But during the actual stream, the problem is though, is if I interact with chat a lot. So if somebody asks me a question, we start diving down a rabbit hole. So I've started referring to my streams as you're hanging out for the show. And then we're also building a printer. So that's kind of how I now I run my show is basically we're just hanging out, shooting the shit. And also today is part 10 of the VZBot build series. Like it's kind of like that. And ever since I've kind of I've put that out there that's how I run it, I get a lot less of the, I tried to watch this to follow along and all you did was talk. And I'm like, well, that's what I do. That's how
I like that. I like that actually, because it's very much so me. Like sometimes I feel bad. I'm like, oh my god, we spent 4 hours and all I did was that. Like, how is that possible? But if you set expectations, then
Yep. Yeah. I mean, there's been days where I've gone live where I'm like, hey guys, I've got nothing today. We're gonna just wing it for the next 3 hours. And next thing I know, I have 500 viewers. I'm like, okay, cool, it worked, whatever. So as long as you set up your now, granted, it's how long I've been streaming for? Almost 3 years now streaming regularly. It'll be 3 years of streaming regularly in April, 2 years of doing it full time in March. So my community has kind of gotten that understanding, but every now and then I get that random non-member that just leaves a comment and you're like, who are you? What? oh, you're new. You welcome to the club. You'll figure it out. So,
Or you don't leave.
or they'll leave. Yeah. But like the thing is, it's you kind of have to find what works for you, and what works for you may not work for everyone. And it's like the videos. A lot of people, why don't you do more videos? Why don't I do more videos? There's another streamer that I watch. He's on Twitch, completely different thing. Pay money wubby, but they stream a ton. But they used to be a big YouTuber. So they used to do skit stuff, talk about random events and whatever. And they did YouTube videos, full, 10, 15, 20-minute YouTube. But then they started streaming, and now they don't really do YouTube videos anymore. And it's like, why don't you do it? It's like, because I stream 3 days a week. If something comes up and it's like, I'd rather just talk about it on the stream. Because one, I talk better when I have people to interact with, even just chat. I could just pull from chat. Like if I'm, it just helps to kind of keep me centered. It's when I record a video, it takes me half an hour to record the intro, because I can sit here for 3 hours right now and just go, and I'll be fine. Me by myself with my camera on. Okay. Okay. Hey guys, no, I don't like that. It's hilarious. I can't do it. But it also comes down to, I can't. I've tried scripting. I can't.
I rant too much, man. I ramble.
It makes such a big difference.
Yeah, I can't do scripts either.
I did it once, and then I dropped. I stopped reading the script.
It takes time, man. It takes a lot of time. I mean, I went eight or 9 years of nothing, and then it was bullet points. Bullet points were helping a little bit, but now I don't read it word for word. But it all depends on the video. But like, it helps them. Like, if not, I am taking everyone on so many side quests, and I like side quests for streams. I don't like side quests for short, concise, edited content.
I do keep a list. I do have a bullet point list that I work off.
Before, Daniel.
Yeah.
But the other problem is, now as a streamer, a good example of this was somebody sent me a tap kit. So Voron Tap, it uses your tool head to probe the bed. It's a great system. Somebody sent me a CNC tap kit that they built. So they're machining their own tap kits. They're selling them on Etsy. They sent me one, and so I get it, and I'm like, what do I do with this? Obviously, I'm going to put it in a printer, but it's like, do I make a video or do I stream it? Like, so if I make a video of it, I get 1 10-minute video out of this, because it's just install and tap. Okay, here's a quick, B-roll time lapse of me taking apart the printer. This is how you install it. This is it in action. Here's a 10-minute video. It might do good. It might not, but it's a video. Or I can make this 3 live streams. That's 9 hours of content, plus some other upgrades I can throw in, plus some bantering. That is a much better. That's a much better ROI for me. That's the problem. Is like, especially as a smaller YouTuber, right now, if you live stream and you have a decent audience, you could do so much better than a YouTuber that just does videos nowadays. The way it's changed with direct, you're not relying just on AdSense. You're building a community, memberships, subscriptions. That when YouTube introduced gifted memberships, was a game changer for anyone who live streamed on YouTube.
Yeah.
But it's just sitting there. It's like, I could either go through all this, spend the same amount of work and more, because now I have to edit this to do a video that might get a couple thousand views and might make me, $100, or I could just, use it for live streaming over the, or it's live streaming. It's my Tuesday content for live streaming for the next month, which is a much better ROI.
I just wish YouTube streaming had more of the integrations and the value adds that Twitch does. The cheering. I mean, you can do super chats and stuff, but the cheers and bits. I mean, bits work because it's monopoly money for people. And I don't mean that it's they're not spending their hard-earned cash, but you see, I've got 100 pennies here. I can throw some on the floor, and those 100 pennies add up. Whereas I saw this on Twitch as they started to do the cash, where you say, I want to do $1, $2, $3. Where you're putting a hard dollar number, and that starts adding up in your head as that's not disposable income anymore. That's real money. Bits are funny money. You can throw it out there. But
I think the biggest thing that you have to kind of take away from the Twitch versus YouTube is that Twitch built up from Justin TV as a very community focused like atmosphere within that. And when Justin TV took off, that's what it was. It was very community focused. It was very like small subsects of gaming groups and all that kind of stuff. Whereas YouTube went from more of a broadcast like angle at first with YouTube live streaming, where it was very much like, okay, here's a way to do this. Whereas Twitch has always been, here's the community way to do that. That's why you have stuff like channel points. That's why you have stuff like bits for that community interaction. And that's what's always set Twitch apart. And so that's like, there's a lot of different ways that you can look at it as why one is better than the other. But like when it comes down to it, Twitch is community and YouTube is just live streaming at a high performance out of there. And you could the way you bridge that, I feel like a lot is Discord. Discord is the huge thing for that everybody uses, but like when you're trying to do it on the platforms themselves, that just it's hard either way, because both definitely have their upsides and both definitely have their downsides.
Yep.
I think
Yeah,
Shane
there
jumping
are
in
things-
here.
Yeah,
there are
sorry,
things in
I'm
YouTube-
going to be the timekeeper.
Oh, we're being
Yeah.
kicked out.
You're not being kicked out. I would like you guys to like, at least meet the next upcoming panel, which is going to be our cosplay and prop maker panel. And
I'm gonna
while
go
you
put my
guys-
Mandalorian costume on.
Oh, there we go. I didn't even get to do my stuff.
I didn't get to
I'm
dress
sorry.
up. Go get my Mando
Alright.
suit.
But while you guys were talking, we had some more donations. We went well over halfway past our goal of 5,000. We're at $3,256.50. And I ran a poll and I'm like, do we raise the goal to 7,500? And it was unanimous. About 30 people like, yes. So our new goal is $7,500. All right. And like I said, for everyone involved with the 3D printer maker panel, for the Makers on Tap crew, for Chris Riley, for Nero, Modbot, Steve Builds, and Krusty, thank you very much. It was great because you guys covered everything from like, the printer builds, to how to stream, to Nero torturing
Chocolate,
chat. We're
lots of
talking about chocolate.